There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarack. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to rob brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down to make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, make our dreams come true, for a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? The master, master teacher, freedom for 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 the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring it master teacher, bring it freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring it master teacher, bring it freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master.
Okay, right. So we're gonna get started. It's exactly 7:01. If you haven't done so already, please, if you could, share the room. Let somebody else get the opportunity to experience Wu-Sabat. People on Zoom, anyone on Zoom, can you confirm if you can see the screen? Oh. And
I can see the screen.
okay, thank you. It's not sharing what I just shared. So, okay, here we go. All right. So for newcomers, it is customary for us to start with our affirmation. So we're going to do that and then get into today's class. Greetings, people on TikTok, around back. We've got people in the class, people on Zoom, people on Clubhouse, and people here at Nashat. Okay. All right. So that's our affirmation. And in English, it translates Baro, Baro, Baror, Nabab, Natar, Muqdar, Holy, 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 Master, Overseer, Almighty, Na'ut, Muqdad, Badet, Patah, Na'ut, Muklas, Badet, Yanun. no God except Ptah, no Savior except Yanun. Partakud, the affirmation. I am inside the divine love of the all-expanding, and all divine love is inside me. And I am a part of the all-expanding, and the all-expanding is a part of me. I am one as the all-expanding, and the all-expanding is one as me. And it goes on, and the all-expanding is one as me. Then it continues. I can succeed as a part of the all-expanding and fail as an individual person. I can be all that I wish in the all-expanding, as long as my wish is to stay in the all-expanding. I am never by myself. The all-expanding is, I am. The all-expanding can, I can. The all-expanding does, I do. It's important to take the words in. All right. Okay, Rahubat again, greetings, Musa, Rahubat family. It's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to come before you all and share the good news of Wu-Sabat as brought to us by way of the master teacher, Partner Babyanun, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, the Z standing for Zodok, Zedek, justice, the K standing for Kobina in the Ghanaian tongue. For newcomers, it's always important for us to do the housekeeping. If you're not familiar with our website, our official worldwide website, the United Sabians Worldwide.com, that would be the first stop, I would say, for newcomers, because you get to know a lot about who we are, our master teacher, the being that is here and has been selected and chosen by the forces of natural nature to bring about this change that we're all experiencing right now. Many refer to as the sun cycle, the Aquarian age, the golden age. You know, many terms are used to describe this period we're in. Some call it the awakening, the Christ consciousness, dimensional shift. There are all sorts of names that people are using to describe this period that we're in. And regardless of how you come across it or what term you come across, it is clear that something is happening. Transformation, Rahubat Samatatu. It is clear that something is happening from the inside out by those beings that are ready. And when I say ready, meaning that you only have to be in that space of vibration. You know things innately within your being. So you don't really have to like follow the masses or go with like what most people do, is thinking the majority is always right. The majority is not always right. you've got a barometer within you, within your being. You were born with this to be able to feel things, know things without someone else having to tell you. Now, what's happened over the years is that there's been a lot of distortion and chaos and confusion and a lot of evil being made fair seeming, to the point where a lot of people don't know right from wrong anymore. They can't discern. They don't trust their own intuition. They don't trust their own feeling. They don't trust something that is clearly right. You've been desensitized with your emotions, because your emotions are the real, essence of you that you can use to like decipher things without anyone else telling you. So when you come across Wu-Sabat or Parnabab, if you're a real internal being that is ready to receive Wu-Sabat, it will resonate and that change will take place. We call that a DNA explosion, because it is literally a chemical reaction that takes place within your being that cannot be denied. And not everyone is ready or can feel that. There are people today that are so desensitized with the problems of the world and the issues, things that you would see years ago and have some type of feeling towards watching or seeing someone facing injustice, being attacked or whatever on the street, and your first reaction would not be take out my phone to film so I can get clout or views on social media. People will watch something happening and all they think about is, let's get our phones out. That's what I mean by people being so desensitized to the problems of the world. Now, Parnabab Yanun, as a spiritual being, right? Because we call him the master teacher, because he teaches on everything, not just religion. He is here for humanity, for those who are ready, who are resonating and vibrating on that frequency, because it has to start within you. You have to be ready. You have to be like, something's wrong with this world. Something's not right. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like how I'm living. I don't like how people are being subjugated, being controlled, being manipulated. Something makes you feel like, nah, this is wrong. I don't want to live in this world as it is. So he comes and shows you the truth, the right way, the right knowledge, the right wisdom, the right understanding, how to think. One man can make a difference. And he has shown that by building heaven on earth. We know as Tamaray. Nothing he does, nothing he says, nothing he writes is by coincidence. It's all by design. Nothing he says or does, or like, you have to really stand back and think, at this point, there's really no one on the planet that can contest the divinity of Parnabab Yanun. So the main thing is the main thing, his freedom. So today's title for the class is Let's Build. We're going to get into that. But if you're new, check out the Nuwaupian United Sabians Worldwide.com website. And of course, we have many stores and locations all around the world, because we are worldwide and we are here to share the truth with everyone worldwide. So you can go to the contact, go to bookstores, and you should find the addresses, contact details for your nearest location where you should really try to connect with, so you can be up to date with what's going on, because things are changing and happening in real time. All right. So That's your first port of call. Of course, we are in the UK and we have our own website and are here to basically interact with the local members and anyone online, wherever you are in the world. So you can also visit our website, nashat.co.uk, all right, where you can, if you want to join, like if you want to become a part of the communities, you can do that from either websites by going to the join, this button, the join us, all right, completing that. And be patient because we do get inundated with many people wanting to, become a part of Wu-Sabat and share the knowledge and share the information. So, be patient. Patience is one of those lessons that everyone tells you patience is a virtue. So, you have to really, there are lots of things you learn to exercise as you grow in your being. And patience is one of those that you have to be able to master. All right. Any questions so far with anything I've said? Anyone online? Yeah, go ahead, brother. Oh yeah, please, if you could use a mic so that we can make sure that we record you properly.
You said something I just want to clarify. It's meetings about DNA exposure and DNA exposure has to do with interaction with the body. And what can bring about the chemical reaction is the kind of food you eat. We say that, can we say that the food you eat determines also affects your temperament, affects your feeling about certain things?
Yeah, we can say that because you've heard the phrase, you are what you eat. Literally, what you put inside your body has an effect on you, all right? So
mentally, not physically.
It has an effect on you, full stop, mentally, physically, spiritually, because all those parts are part of you as one. You can't say my physical is separate from my spiritual or my, my mental, because they're all part. Your body reacts based on your thoughts, how you think. And that's how you will be led to what you put into your mouth, because you will see something and you may even know it's good for you or not good for you. But then you have to have that conversation within yourself. Shall I put it in my mouth or not? The first reaction, if it's something that's not good for you, would be no. But you will override that because of the programming or the beings within you that are so forceful to persuade you to eat it or take it because they want it. They need to subsist of that energy. So even though you know it's bad for you, you will eat it. And then you say, oh man, why did I do that afterwards? So you have to do that battle between the two natures that you have to decide to override it, not do it, or to go ahead and do it.
But then can we now say that if someone is eating right, it is easier for him to accept the truth?
Yeah, because okay, you have to look at food or what you put into your mouth as fuel, right? Nutrition, things that are supposed to make you think better, act better, live better, live longer, live healthier. So people don't look at food in that way. They look at food based on what I was saying, that it tastes good. You see, your tongue has been trained to think that sweet things are good for you. You see, and salty things are good for you. So over years of you growing up. So unfortunately, if your first God being your mother, your nurturer, if she's not equipped to get you trained from the time you arrive to not think that all sweet things are good for you, then you're going to be trained to just eat sweets. And then in school and in nursery, they give you so much sweet. And a lot of sweets are made up of sugar. And sugar is one of the most damaging things for the brain. And it's an addiction that most people have with sugar. This is why you will always go towards the things that are sweet. And somebody gives you bitters, which is something better for you, and children will go, yuck, they don't want it. But if you train them that way from the young age, it will be nothing to them. They will accept it because they have not been trained that go for the sweets and the salt. And these things are by design because, like you say, it limits your capacity in terms of your mentality to think. A lot of people act erratic based on what they put into their body. So yeah, you're right. Diet, even the word diet is a trick because you see the word diet right there. It's actually designed for you to die from what you're eating. And people be changing one diet to the next diet to the next diet, thinking that it's going to help them, but it doesn't. You know, the word health, if you look at that, healing, the first part of the word healing is really dealing with health. So your kitchen should be a laboratory where you're preparing, you say medicine, well, obviously, you know, that's what you're putting into your body, the fuel that you need so that you can perform at your best, mentally, physically, spiritually, etc. Does that help? Okay. Sister, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Sister, you had your hand up. All right. So I want to read. So I was saying the title of the class is Let's Build. I'm going to read an excerpt from, let me see if I can actually pull it up. An excerpt from this scroll called Intelligent Design, Divine Design or Plot of Aliens. Okay, that's Actual Fact, series number 47, because it ties to your question. Because most people are starting to realize, and because of Wu-Sabat and OSM Vision, if you don't know about OSM Vision, that's our YouTube channel that you should definitely subscribe, like and share the videos, because one of the things that we hear people say, the comments that people make, is some people say, oh, they can't afford the books, they don't get the books. Even people will ask us questions such as, why do you guys sell books? And it's such a silly question because anyone knows that we don't sell the knowledge, we don't sell the information. We are the most, I would say, I don't like to use the word organization because we're a culture, but we give out information daily, freely. You know, all the videos, if you've never read one book, you can watch all the videos on OSM Vision and you will learn more in probably 1 week or 1 day than someone in a religious organization that has been there for 20 years. That's how powerful Wu-Sabat is. That's how powerful Partner Babylon is. At this stage, there's no one on the planet that can even try to dispute that. Not only did he give us our way, our culture, our language, Wu-Sabat, but along the way, he stopped and cleaned everybody else's stuff up by giving them the most authentic, unbiased version of their books. That's the Quran in Islam. That's the Torah, if you follow, you know, Abrahamic religions. That's Circle 7 of the Moorish Science Temple. Name it. He cleaned it up. The lessons of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he cleaned them up. 5%ers, name it. Everyone, he had to, because he's a reformer. He's here to bring about this change, whether people accept it, like it or not. You see? So if one man can do that, and all of the leaders of all these organizations put together have not yet come up with one original book of their own, nor built any communities, not even attempt to build, you know, what we did with Tamaray, Egypt of the West. They talk Egyptology. People will always tie it into Egyptology. They will say they're Muslim, but they will talk about, you know, ancient Egypt. Everybody will tie into Egypt because without Egypt, their books, their religious organizations don't have anything authentic. So they have to tie into that, but they can't take it all the way. They don't have the language. They don't have the culture, you see. So, you know, How do you tell a person's greatness? You can look at anyone who's popped up in the last however many years, right? The students of the master teacher are the most prolific people out there. When Brother Polite was on the so-called conscious community, he was shining more than everyone else. Prince York went on there, and he, you know, you can look at the teachers like the Triad of Atum Ray, Haru Hotep, Mentu Hotep. You know, these brothers, no one can touch any of the master's students, let alone him himself. You want to ask a question? Okay, no problem. So what we're saying is, it's time for the master teacher to come home. That's what really today's class is about us rebuilding and bringing the master home. Yeah, so let me read this and then we'll get into it. So I'm going to read from page 9. In fact, let me read from the introduction where we're saying Zahen Mursam Sayem Mursam Awi Dasas M Mokmeu, which translates as intelligent design, divine design, or plot of aliens, by Parnabab His Excellency, Dr. Malachi Z. New York. Actually, I wanted to, let me share this so you all can follow along. If you have any questions, burning questions, we encourage people to write their questions down. You should really get into the habit of having a notepad, pen and paper, so that you can take notes, you can write things down. One thing we ask is that you research for yourself. Don't just take our word for it. And this is something that the master teacher always said, like, don't believe me, check it out. So if you want to really know something, you can't rely on someone else. You have to confirm it for yourself. We do know and take it that not everything you may have the opportunity to be able to go and check out. You know, for example, you may never get the opportunity to go and visit Egypt, the one our ancestors built before. And but you may have seen pyramids in pictures, people talk about it, people, so you can't experience everything, but you can use sound right reasoning by firstly reading, using your mind to discern things, and then checking out with other people. I'm trying to find this document so I can share it. Okay, I can't find it at the moment, so I'll just read it. Okay, let's keep going. So, divine advanced. Sorry, I missed a bit. So, by Parnabab Yanun, His Excellency Dr. Malachi Z. New York, Okran. It's not what you are, it's who. Yeah? Let that sink in for a minute. It's not what you are, it's who you are, right? So people accept all kinds of labels and, like we have an actual fact called not what you accept, but who you are. Divine advanced galactic intelligent implants life on this planet Earth, direct by panspermia. What does that mean? It's saying that the beings on this planet, going back to your original questions, Amar, relate to how you're designed. Okay, how you're designed. I think one of my admins is trying to share the scroll. Yeah. So intelligent design, divine design, or plot of aliens. So the aliens have a plot, right? And they have they have some, what's the word I'm looking for? They have some kind of hand in the beings on the planet Earth. This is why we use the word planet, plan-et. Okay, so Zahen Mersam, Sayem Mersam, Awi Dasas M Mukmedu, intelligent design, divine design, or plot of aliens. 1. Ayimura Marura Karadu Shalel wu-nuwaup. My beloved children of wu-nuwaup, Mukmenu, Melanites, you are much more than you have been led to believe. 2. Your Yahasat genes have been affected by what you intake, who you are around, and what you hear, see, feel, smell, and taste. All affects change in your Mukwan being. This is what you were saying, right? So let me read that one again. Number 2, your genes have been affected by what you intake, right? Who you are around, the people you're around, and what you hear, what you see, what you feel, what you smell, and what you taste, all affects change in your being. 3, when I taught you, wu-nuwaupu, Nuwaupians, about the genetic kiss, the exchange of khatat mayat, body fluids, the very air you breathe, those who are around you, how it can affect your how it can affect you physically and mentally. 4, such as shape-shifting, transforming, morphing, and transfiguration. All this is real. So even the air you breathe and the people you're around affects you physically and mentally. 5, and Pakakasu, the Caucasoid, brings you near to have an effect on both you as a deity and them as demons, or you as 9 ether and them as 6 ether, down to 5. 6, wu-nuwaupu, Nuwaupians, I am here with you to show you how to transform back to wu-nuwaupu Ethereums. 7, your Yahasat genes have always been the gateway, the key you hold to either a mawat, death, or elongated Jose. I'm not sure what you're doing, but you've just okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to 7. Your Yahasat genes have always been the gateway, the key you hold to either a mawat, death, or elongated hayar, life. 8, to be a genius or a mental slave to all that was fed to you in a religion that is perfect health and an agile mind, or barasi, leprosy, maradnos, sickness, khale, disease. 9, neurological disease with defects, taught your fate is determined by something or some unseen deity, a spirit being, by whichever attribute you're given. 10, that your Yahasat genes are merely building blocks and a greater intelligence is in charge of whether you can or cannot think for yourself, how old you will be when you die, if normal, or die at a young age due to a genetic predisposition for cardiac arrest. 11, or some mystical tree in a Garden of Eden can give you eternal life by eating of it, as their Bible and Quran teaches, fictional stories taken from stone tablets of beings who came to this Mikwak Taha, planet Earth. 12, when in Hakak al-Hakak actual fact, your genetic determinism is that genes and the exclusion of environment or the field of your awareness and your experience determines how an organism turns out. 13, you could call it the extreme version of natural nature versus nurture, where your DNA tells you everything you can know about what someone will be. Your actual qadar, fate, versus fakak, faith. 14, you are taught that generational programming accounts for everything you are or can become. 15, you have believed, accepted, and become obsessed with genes, race, sanafu, species, yet in actual fact, that you and all others now test for virtually everything from genes or breast or ovarian cancer to clues regarding ancestral roots. 16, know that such affirmation to information is useful to you to know what is in your 4 generations back. Who had what? Who died of what? Who suffered from what? 17, and may have passed it on to you. 18, however, that can be deceptively limiting. While you can learn if your great-great-great-grandparents were carnivorous or herbivores, were they hunters, killers, tall, short, fat, thin, diseased, insane, raped, enslaved, drug users, alcoholics? 19, did they have wabar, nappy hair, or fur? Was it color? All kinds of genes, both wawed, good, and dawi, bad. 20, this can be found in your genes. 21, is this your only fate? Can it be changed or altered? 22, one of the greatest intellectual blocks to shafui, healing yourselves, to say nothing of overstanding and understanding this one wahu makwan universe, is the assumption that yakhas at genes determine your reality and cannot be changed. Go ahead, Zama.
I have a question. From what you read, it means we are being influenced by environments, by the birth rates, and from what research have talked about is that if you're in the library, for instance, and you don't talk to the next person, and the person is intelligent, maybe in a library of intelligent people, by virtue of being there, you become intelligent because you're sharing the same space. And if you are also in a library where what people also share from their negativity or their positivity. So the question is now, what are the options that are available to us?
Right.
Because the air affects you, what you hear affects you, what you see affects you. The proximity of people, their energies also affect you. So what are our options? Or how do we shield ourselves from those negative?
Our option is to build. That's the title of today's class. We have to build an environment and control it the way we want it to be. And we already did this with Tamaray, Egypt of the West. If you haven't seen the video with my brother Mhotep, we had a conversation and he was explaining right from the get-go how, the land was just nothing on there. And we built that from scratch to the point where those who visited, those who came there, it was heaven on earth. And this is why living in an environment or amongst people or doing things that they're literally destroying your being, because what you're doing is you're compromising yourself. You're lowering your vibration. And as you said, it's not just being around positive people and intelligent people will rub off on you, but it's not just being around them. It's you activating the God within you, the being within you, to live it You see, in this day and time, like the master teacher's been teaching us since 1962. When we came on the scene just over a year or so ago, right? This is what I'm saying about when you're around a master teacher, the impact it has on you as a being, if you are listening and applying what he's teaching you. That's why I gave you all those people, like all those brothers and sisters who have been touched by the master teacher. I'm talking about millions of people worldwide. A lot of people didn't utilize that energy by them becoming what he showed them and taught them. To be like, he's the example. He's shown you what is possible. That's why when we dropped our video, it's the energy behind me as a student teacher, which is coming from the master teacher. The same way with Imhotep, the same way with Brother Polite, the same way with Prince York, phase one. Anyone who's been around a master teacher that's been touched by the master teacher, if they apply it, because he's showing you what you're capable of, what you're able to do, what the power within you is, both male and female. Because when you reach the point where, if you look at the pyramid, right, it's also it's symbolic, but it's also showing you that you climb, there's more people at the bottom, right? As you go to the top, it gets thinner. There are fewer people that reach those standards. So you have to really, really work. It's not about like religion. You get dipped in water and then you don't have to do anything. You just rely on someone else that's going to come and save you, which is never going to happen, because the person you're relying on to come and save you wasn't able to save themselves. And there's no way or any evidence to prove that they're going to come back. People have been waiting for thousands of years and saying he's coming back soon, right? I'm talking about the characters, Jesus, whatever. Now, when you reach the top, where else can you go? But reach down and pull other people up. You see? So Wu-Sabat, without you letting it work from inside you, it's just like, what's the point? It's like having knowledge. A lot of people have knowledge. You hear them all online, social media. Everyone's got knowledge now, right? But having knowledge is one thing, but actually applying it. That's why I said at the beginning that all these leaders, all the people that you've ever heard of prior to the master teacher, they're knowledgeable, but no one's been able to be as effective in sparking people and making those people gods to be like them. You follow me? And then to build and to, like Jesus himself also said, the works that I do, you will be able to do greater. So all of us are students that the master has touched in any way, shape or form. Now is the time for you to rise up and show that divinity. You know, like you can have the fastest car with the best engine, souped up, looks shiny, Ferrari, well, Bugatti, whatever, just sitting on your driveway. What good is that? That's what a lot of people did. A lot of people ran away. They didn't feel until this day. A lot of people don't recognize the power within themselves. As when God comes, what does he do? He makes gods in his image and his likeness. That's what the scriptures teach you. For part of the Bible, Nun has made many gods and goddesses. And when we use the word, you know, we're talking about both male and female in his image and likeness. The ability to be able to not be fearful of who you are. How can you be afraid of yourself and your power and using it in the way you're supposed to touch other people? You know, so all the people who, they know deep within yourself, like I said at the beginning, you can't lie to yourself. You can't hide from yourself. Innately, you're naturally a good person or good being. You have to, like I said before, override or convince yourself to do evil because of the programming. Someone has distorted what is right from what is wrong to the point where people don't have that trust anymore. They've been let down so many times, right? The lies, the fact that your entire life you've been lied to, not knowing that these extraterrestrials, these aliens, are the ones pulling the strings, right? From the people that are minions, they're puppets. And you may not think you're significant, but you're very powerful. You know that by the minute you start teaching Wu-Sabat, teaching truth, right? They try to ignore and pretend the master does not exist. How? How can you do that? No one else on the planet is as significant, but they don't want to show you the positive side. They want to show you negative. But even then, your real soul, your real being will tell you when something is not true. You can feel it. Like, that doesn't make sense. They say he was running to go and hide from New York to Interton. How do you hide with big pyramids that no one else has ever built in a place that, you know, it's going to stand out? How? It's like saying, you know, Jesus wasn't black, but they take him to Egypt where there's no black people to hide. Doesn't make sense. So you know within your being the truth. You know that, you know, they've just been telling lies on the master teacher, but regardless, the being knows what day, what time he will come out or walk out of it. But at the same time, we have to show that we are ready, that we have learned. I mean, people complain about, like you were saying, like, what can we do? We're trapped in a matrix. You know, we don't have control over what we eat. We don't have control over our environment, what we wear, etc., etc., etc. Our children, they don't have, you know, a safe place, safe environment to run and play and be children, right? You're fearful of your children going into their institutions because they tell you all the time on TV how people go into schools and on the live children and people, and you know, so like if you can have your own environment, which the master showed us, the children, as my brother Imhotep was saying, and when you were on Tamaray, all you heard was children's laughter, running around, playing. We had the beach area, classes will be going on. It was beautiful, peaceful. So we have to rebuild, and you know, we have to get the master out. And people always ask, oh, if he's who he is, why do we have to do it? Well, how are you going to know your potential? How are you going to know what you're capable of if you're not given the hardest test ever? How are you going to know what you're capable of? You know, like if you've never done something before, that's how you know. Like, do something that helps humanity. Do something. It's easy, right? If someone attacks you, it's easy to retaliate. You know what I mean? Like just by acting off of emotions. That's the natural thing that if you're not vibrating and thinking on a higher level to do, it's harder to restrain yourself. And you know what I mean? Just like look at all the different things that can happen from your one action. That's why you stop, you think, you go, okay, if I take this action, what's going to be the cause and effect? So contrary to popular demand, opinion, it's easy to be, for lack of a better word, it's easy to be a waste man. It's easy to be someone who doesn't want to do anything. It's easy to just get up and just think about yourself all the time. It's easy to drink, smoke, party. It's easy. It's harder to say, I'm going to clean myself up. I'm going to be the divine being that I am. I'm going to do things to help others. I'm going to do things for humanity. I'm going to build that space and land you're talking about for children, for anyone who wants to live in a safe, peaceful environment in harmony. That is a challenge. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we have to do to basically not be in that world. That world is failing and falling to pieces. You just have to look at the world and see what's going on right now with the wars and the diseases and the this and the that. So yeah, it's time for us to build. I'm gonna read something else. But yeah, if anyone has questions at any time, just raise your hand, come up on the stage on Clubhouse, and we'll answer your question. See, we as a culture, as a community, we are the best example you're going to find. Even with us being dispersed and in the situation we're in right now, where our 476 acres of land plus was stolen, with the master. Imagine, even with the master being kidnapped, with our land taken away, with our families and our children dispersed, where we already built, we are still, no one else on the planet is able to contend with us. We are still the ones teaching affirmation, information that no one else is teaching. We are still united. You may see me, but when I'm teaching, but there are brothers and sisters that we work together. There are brothers and sisters teaching right now in the Telegram group. Different brothers teaching all year round, worldwide, in different stores, different classes. Who else is doing this on the planet right now? So everyone needs to come home. We just need to come together and build. And you can see how possible it is, because all you have to do is your part. See, one of the misconceptions is you think, like I said before, the majority, you see lots of people, like you may go to a Christian congregation or a Muslim congregation and there are millions of people there. Does that mean they're doing the right thing because there's a lot of people? No. Every time there's something to be done, like when we talk about building, people like the knowledge, they like the information. You know, like I said, we came on the scene giving information for free, and we do it every single day. But when it's time to build, people go quiet just to do their little part. You know, you may think you get 1,000 people and you say, right, let's do something. Everyone will think everyone else is doing their part. And then they won't do their part because they think, because you've got a lot of numbers, that means if they don't do their little part, you're still going to be okay. But it doesn't work that way. You just have to do your part. And everyone doing their part makes it easy. Many hands make light work. Right, while I'm looking for this, if you have any other questions, anyone else, feel free to ask. And the building part is really something that we definitely have to do in this day and time. But before we get into the building, we have a big challenge, which is to bring the master teacher home. And our legal team, we have a legal team because there's so much complexity to what we have experienced and endured as, you know, as a tribe, as a community, to the point where we have people that deal with the legal, that are specialists, and they study the legal, they know what they're doing. It's a team, they work together in unity to deal with, you know, fighting and bringing the master teacher home. And we can all support them by what we do, you know, something as simple as, you know, sharing information, sharing the video, sharing just a little free will offering, you know, like this is what I'm saying, like the amount of people that benefit from what the master teacher has done, if everyone was just to, like, I don't know, just as you pay your cell phone, mobile phone, or whatever else you pay monthly, just like donate to the acts of kindness. Yeah. We share the links all the time. You can go to the website, go to How Can I Help? And let me just show you, because sometimes you can speak, but some people need to see things to make sense for them. So if you go to the website, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, don't underestimate your power. So if you go to the website, and you can just search, to be honest, there's a search facility here. If you just type search, how can I help? How can I help? Because everyone, our power is in our unity and our power is in working together. And when I say our, I mean ours as in anybody who knows and feels truth, that wants to live and be peaceful in a different world to the one that we're experiencing, where you feel like, you know, you're a slave. There you go. I just said, how can I help? Bill with offering. All you have to do is acts of kindness, donate at outlook.com. All right, that's a PayPal. You can use that. There's, you know, bank information there as well. Just do your little bit. That would help. That helps with the legal. That's where most of the legal support that anybody wants to help to you know, help with financially with the legal, but it's not just about finance as well. So that's one thing you can do. All right. I know when it comes to just doctrine and information, people are very active, very vocal, and that's great. We will always do that. But when it comes to the building, you know, we need the real people that really do want that. Like you're saying, my brother, it's like we want something, but the only way we're going to get it is if we make it happen, if we do it. Yeah, so we're working on that. Well, I'm trying to find something to share with you all. Why is everyone quiet? Everyone's so quiet. I'm thinking, is it me? Okay, we got a hand up. Ramesses, go ahead, Ramesses. Unmute your mic and ask your question.
Yes, Rahubat.
Rahubat.
In Wu-Sabat, what do you call a person, yeah, that has no use of function?
There's no such thing. Everybody has a use and a function. They may not know what it is, or they may lack motivation or like direction or guidance. Everybody has a function. It's how you motivate or how you know, mobilize that person. This is what I'm saying with the master teacher, right? He drew everyone to him because of his energy and because of the being that he is. I'm talking about people that were, you know, maybe in gangs, people that, you know, they just felt like down and out. There are people that feel that way even now, just like because of the environment and the fact that they feel helpless. But when they get Wu-Sabat, it makes them, or it should make them feel like activated to start to doing something. So, I mean, you may have to rephrase your question, but there is no such thing as, you know what I'm saying? Even to use this example, right? Even in, say, war, right? There is a strategy where people that are useless eaters or may be conceived as not having any use will help to defend others because they put them on the front line, you know, and this is still a use because they may, if you're in war, that they may be able to buy you time, you know, even if they taken out first. I'm saying that to say everybody has a use. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but you can elaborate if you want.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
Okay. What it is, again, remember what I said before, that it's so much easier to give up on people. It's so much easier for us to say someone has no use. But what about you that have use, changing that person to the point where you give them a purpose and give them some use or function in life? That's what a master would do. By touching you, you feel alive again. And then you obviously want to find what your purpose is, even if your purpose is just to help by doing a little bit. You know, it's like everyone has something to give. Like when Tamaray was being built, you know, you may say, I don't have a use if you're not a builder or an architect or someone like that, but you can pick up a brick. You know, you can go and get water for someone else who's working. There's so much you can do. You can, you know, just do whatever from your heart that will help. And this is what we say with Wu-Sabat. We don't just leave people in a destitute state. We transform them, give them
Okay, let me go further. You know, when someone says, yeah, oh, that person there can't do anything, what do you say to that?
That person saying that is being judgmental for a start, because everyone has different gifts, different talents. Now, who are you to say to someone else they're useless, or whatever you want to use as a term to put them down, when at the end of the day, you're just being judgmental? And in Wu-Sabat, that's one thing we avoid. We should anyway. As a divine being, you know, you've got to help, not condemn and put people down.
Well
Make
said.
sense?
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone else? I found this document, but I can't open it. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Hi, Sakem. Rahubat.
Rahubat. Who's speaking?
Sheldon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just following on from the last brother, from tomorrow's last point. So, what do you do when you feel like you've exhausted your patience?
Your line is a little bit, I can't
In fact,
really hear.
You know what, Sakem, I'll just come in the store. I'm
I can
outside.
hear you now, but it just sounds a bit muffled, that's all.
Okay. I was just wondering, what do you do when you run out of patience? I know as a supreme divine being, you're supposed to have your patience through the time, but it comes to a point where you are genuinely trying to help, but it seems like the other person just doesn't, like they're not giving enough back. It just seems like they don't care to pay you, or I don't want to use the word useless, but you're trying to find a use for them. It's just not happening. Like you're really trying to give them a use, but it's not, it's as if they're trying, as if they're actively trying to be not useful. Or
your line's really bad, but I think from what I picked up, you're saying, yeah, go on. It was getting a bit better.
in fact, but then I'll just come in the store. Someone else could ask another question for now.
Okay. But I picked up what you said about patience. And I said at the beginning, it's like, we have to remember, yeah, we are all learning and all at different stages in our development. And if the Natharu, that's the overseers, Partner Babyanun being one of them, if they didn't have patience, this planet would have been, I don't know what to call it, just gone. They would have been like, look at these people, like us. Look at us as the supposedly first people on the planet with the most talent in every field you can think of. Even the patience to say, even now, when we say come together, let's build, let's do something. You know, like if they didn't have the patience with us, you know, we wouldn't be where we are. So we have to exercise that same level of patience with others that are new or walking the walk that we have walked. It's ego that gets to that point where you think you've made it, or that you're somehow better than other people, or that you're not still learning yourself. We're all still learning. We're all still children, you know, but yeah, this condemning of people is not. You got to focus on yourself. Keep growing and teaching others and helping them, instead of being like, okay, you're useless, you can't do anything. Because where were you at one stage? You know, you were, I'm sure most people will tell you they were ignorant or doing certain things before that came into Wu-Sabat, and Wu-Sabat helped them to start to elevate and use their mind, you know. So yeah, I'll wait when you come back if you want to actually say anything else, but oh, is that you? Okay, yeah, you're here in the flesh now, right? Yeah, did that answer your question, or do you want to use the mic, please? And yeah, if you could just mute your phone.
Sorry, I missed half of what you said.
Yeah, I was saying that patience is one of those lessons you have to learn, and to be patient with other people, because the Natharu, the master teacher, has been patient with us, because we should not be in the position we are as a people on this planet.
So Karen, I was going to say, what happens when you feel like you've exhausted your patience, or does that mean I'm just going to try harder?
That's such a good point. This is what the master is saying now, right? There are some people who, no matter what, they just keep going, keep fighting, right? And he's saying a lot of us, we gave up that. There are very few people since his incarceration. A lot of people just went back to the world and just went back to sleep, and they're just not active. But there are others who have continued, and if we didn't do that, they, like Wu-Sabat was becoming quiet and silent. No, people were like, they didn't even know we were in the country, in the UK, until we started to, we were always there. But I'm saying that to say that he's saying those who keep fighting, keep going, and you will make it. It's like, if you have a goal, a purpose, an objective, you don't fall to pieces at the very few like obstacles that you come across, isn't it? If you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, you have to, you might fail a few exams or whatever it is. You got to keep going. And that's what we have done. Those who have held on, we've been holding it, the fort, because it's more work when there's a few people trying to hold it together than when the others are helping. That's why we're saying it's time to build. It's time to bring the master home. No joke. He has to come home. And he's been patient. 22 years of patience in jail. 22 years of patience, watching us destroy everything he has taught us, watching us not applying what he has shown and taught us. We literally allowed everything we built to just go to waste. So now we have to wake up. Now we're back out here. Everyone's like, Wu-Sabat. Now we've got to take that energy and build. Go ahead, brother.
I'm not going to say that we don't know who we are or who we are. You can say, well, wait, no, take me back. Constance saying, I know what it says.
Yeah.
He said basically, it's like, we're the one where we are.
Yeah.
And then who are we? Where are we? And he goes, here we are.
That's right. We just pop up like a thief in the night. So that's a very important point, because it was a bit muffled for those online who couldn't hear you. The master said a true leader knows how to fold and unfold, when to hide and when to come up with his flock or his congregation. There are times when he would say, right, we need to do this. And along the journey, many people will drop off when a change comes, right? Even though most would say, I follow the Lamb wherever he goes. This is a saying that for those of us who've been walking with the master for so long, that just like he said, don't believe me, check it out. I come giving you what you want, so you learn what I have to give. This was another one. I follow the Lamb wherever he goes. Now, all of a sudden, the people that were saying they're following the Lamb wherever he goes are nowhere to be found. So every time he changed gears, as in, if he is the guide, if he is the one that knows the destination of where we're going, of course, along the way, if you haven't read the Patarak Zahutimus, it's a good Patarak to read that explains this, because as a student, following the guide, you can't tell the guide what to do, because he's come to save you and guide you. And so he always knew from the beginning, religion was not going to be it. He knew that from the beginning. So he came giving us Wu-Sabat, wu-nuwaup, wu-nuwaupu. It was too much for people at that time. They weren't ready for it. Because how do you know? Because when you stand up to teach, the questions people ask you tells you what level they're at. So people were asking questions on Abraham, Muhammad, Jesus, Adam, all the biblical stories, which is all they were programmed with. So he was like, okay, I got to put this away. It's too advanced for them for now. So he went through the religious school. But every time he was like, okay, we're no longer Muslims. People that never experienced Islam to that authentic state before, they couldn't let it go. They fell in love with it so much. Like, what are you doing? You're taking this away from me. You've given me something that now I'm holding on to so dear that I don't want to let it go. But the person that gave it to you knows there's more to give you that is even better than that. And the same thing happened when he was going through the schools of Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Egyptology, Sumeria. But he always knew that it was going to bring us back to who we really are as Wu-Sabat of Wu-Sabat. So everyone that stopped along the way or that felt they knew more or ego tripping, now it's time to come back home so we can rebuild. So he did say he knows why he's telling us to do certain things at certain times. But like you're asking, my brother, now we're back out again. Everyone's like, oh, right, never heard of Wu-Sabat before. Where were you all along? We're back out. And now everyone that is really about it has to step up too and come and let's build. All right, let me read this. I'm going to share my screen so you can see and follow along. All right. It's called Very Concerned Citizens. And this is from our legal team. I'm going to just read it. Don't shoot the messenger. When I read the scroll from Pana Babyanum, they are his words, not mine, but they resonate very strongly with us. So we, as student teachers, we relate because it's beautiful and it's helpful. Very concerned citizens. It's a public notice because the conspiracy to destroy Dr. Malachi Z. York is something we have to address. And this is a flyer, a series of flyers by very concerned citizens, exposing the lies, revealing the truth, and demanding justice. Like I said, it's time for the master teacher, Pana Babyanum, to come home. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That's a saying by Martin Luther King Jr. Who is Dr. Malachi Z. York? Dr. Malachi Z. York, misnomered Dwight D. York, is a leader, author, teacher, and a humanitarian who founded the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors in the early 1990s. He has written over 1,000 books. He built a 476-acre Egyptian community with pyramids and spiritual sites known as Tamaray in Eatonton, Georgia. This cultural and spiritual complex attracted followers and visitors from around the world. On May 8, 2002, Dr. Malachi York was wrongfully arrested, maliciously prosecuted, and ultimately sentenced to 135 years in federal prison. He's currently housed in the worst prison in America called ADMAX in Florence, Colorado, with little to no contact with family or friends and under heavy supervision and restriction. On May the 1st, 2025, attorney Imhotep Al-Kibulan filed a motion to petition the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals to get permission to file another 2255 successive writ. The court denied the application with new evidence, once again showing the Georgia court system will not acknowledge the new evidence and conspiracy against Dr. York to prove his innocence, especially during the federal trial. This miscarriage of justice is not only a constitutional violation, it's ripe with violations of documented threats from local law enforcement and threats from federal agents, with a number of affidavit recantations exposing witness tampering, suppressed exculpatory evidence, witness suppression, and coercion. This corruption will be uncovered. This flyer reveals how a targeted conspiracy involving false witnesses, government misconduct, and manipulation was orchestrated to bring down Dr. York by using lies, threats, and fabricated stories to silence his message and destroy his legacy. The main conspirators, right? Meet the main conspirators who are responsible for Dr. York's incarceration. Jacob York, Jacob Johnson, Dr. York's biological son, who had long-standing resentment and jealousy toward his father's influence and spiritual authority. Jacob York played a central role in the conspiracy, recruiting disgruntled members and coordinating a campaign to fabricate allegations of child molestation against Dr. York in 2001. In May 2001, Jacob had former disgruntled members gather in South Beach, Florida, under the guise of a reunion party. Then he met with those who were around Dr. York, close enough to accusations of child molestation, in order to take his father down and have him put in jail. Jacob is connected to Diddy, Junior Mafia, and he was the former manager of rapper Lil' Kim and Karrueche Tran, singer Chris Brown's ex-girlfriend. Jacob York went to Sheriff Howard Richard Sills of Putnam County, Georgia, in order to get him to investigate the fabricated allegations against his father, Dr. York. Nicole Renee Lopez Ada, a disgruntled former member of the community, granted immunity by the prosecution in 2002, despite having sexually abused then 15-year-old minor Isam Williams in 2000 when she was 25 years old. And instead of being arrested, Nicole Renee Lopez was used as a star witness against Dr. York, even though she later admitted on the oath to her crime. Nicole Renee Lopez gave alcohol to minors like Isam when she was taking advantage of him. The courts never knew that Nicole Renee Lopez Ada had charges brought against her by Isam Williams. Before and during the trial, she was never arrested nor charged. Instead, Nicole Renee Lopez was granted immunity 46 days later, after the charges were brought against her for statutory rape of the then 15-year-old minor, when Nicole Renee Lopez was 25 years old. Without Nicole Lopez's false testimony, the RICO and transporting children across state lines for purpose of sex charges wouldn't exist. Instead of prosecuting her for the same crimes Dr. York was falsely accused of, the government preserved Nicole Renee Lopez from arrest to secure the wanted conviction against Dr. York. Ironically, the computer has decided to freeze. I don't know if you guys online, yeah, it's not moving. It's just frozen. Yeah, this is 16 for forces. Wow. Let me see if I can, I'm gonna stop sharing and try sharing again. Okay, let's try that again. It's amazing, isn't it? I can say how 60 for forces. Okay, it looks like it may, yeah, it's back. All right, so, right, let's go on. Habiba Washington Abigail, a former disgruntled member and the main witness for the prosecution that provided inconsistent and uncorroborated testimony. She was recruited as part of the conspiracy, giving statements that aligned with Jacob York's false narrative. Washington later recanted her original testimony against Dr. York, then took it back out of fear for her immunity agreement conditions with the government. Her and others involved in the conspiracy were given favorable concessions to testify against Dr. York. She has also premiered twice on Hulu's documentaries. One is called How I Escaped My Cult, directed by Cameron Hall. She stated in the documentary that Dr. York held her against her will, and in actuality, Dr. York gave her a large sum of money when she had decided to leave. Habiba Abigail Washington was caught engaging in promiscuous behavior with one of Dr. York's minor sons, and when she was caught, she left on her own in embarrassment. Washington also has a video on YouTube where she exposed the entire conspiracy against Dr. York, spearheaded by Jacob York. There were promised book, movie, and documentary deals to make money off the false allegations against Dr. York. Habiba Abigail Washington was pivotal as the prosecution's main witness by providing false financial information against Dr. York, stemming from the conspiracy meeting that took place in South Beach, Florida, which led to structuring charges, RICO, and more. Then you have Barbara, Bilkis, Noel, Amala Noel, Amanda, and Tariq Noel David. Now, these disgruntled members are all related to Nicole Renee Lopez, who is the ex-girlfriend of Jacob York, and they all attended South Beach, Florida conspiracy trip against Dr. York. Barbara Nicole Renee Lopez's mother was deeply involved in coaching witnesses according to multiple affidavits. Barbara Bilkis Noel had also written an email to extort Dr. York out of money right after Dr. York had been arrested to make all this go away. Tariq is Noel's brother, and he made false statements influenced by his mother and outside pressures. And Tariq helped reinforce a false storyline fed to the media and courts. He stated he was threatened in several recanting affidavits by federal agents to testify against Dr. York falsely, or they will deport his mother, Barbara Noel, back to Panama, and his sister, Nicole, will go to jail. Nicole and Amala, they both tried to recruit Issam into being a false victim of child molestation against Dr. York. Issam was told he can make money off book, movie, and documentary deals. He refused to join in with the lies. Crystal Harden, Balura, and Nicole Harden involved in pre-conspiracy meetings before the Florida trip in 2001, where Jacob York, Nicole Lopez, and others planned the false accusation. Crystal Harden initiated the false allegations against Dr. York by writing a letter stating Dr. York sexually abused her in order to get Dr. York in trouble with the false allegation and to have Tamaray, the 476-acre land, shut down, just so she could live her life as a teenager partying at clubs, etc. And after her, Crystal Harden's mother refused to leave Tamaray, Crystal Harden later found out Nicole Renee Lopez, a grown woman, had become romantically involved with Issam Williams when Issam later reported being sexually abused by Nicole Renee Lopez. The group turned on Issam. There are others who participated in the South Beach, Florida conspiracy trip and the Tamaray pre-conspiracy meeting as well. This is just the start. There are more names to be revealed. Lamour LaRoche, Safar LaRoche, Arlene Hamilton, Sakina Parham, and many more. The 2001 Florida conspiracy trip. The perpetrators above, Jacob York, Nicole Lopez, Habiba Washington, and others all took a trip to South Beach, Florida in May 2001 to plan a larger conspiracy to fabricate charges against Dr. York. This trip occurred before any criminal allegations had been made, and it predated Issam's report of abuse in 2002, showing the agenda was in motion long before any actual crime was alleged. This conspiracy was a coordinated operation to defame Dr. York, with the goal of shutting down Tamaray, seizing assets, taking the 476 acres of land, and silencing his teachings. Later, Nicole Lopez was used in court without the jury knowing Issam had pressed charges against Nicole Renee Lopez for raping him. And the prosecution never instructed the jury to disregard her tainted testimony. The conspiracy has been unveiled along with suppression of exculpatory new evidence in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. The petition application lays out the pre-conspiracy origin and the larger conspiracy by Jacob York and others. This is more than a miscarriage of justice, it's fraud. The federal prosecutors used force and immunized witnesses, withheld exculpatory evidence, and participated in jury tampering, juror number 62, and witness extortion in the fraudulent prosecution of Dr. Malachi Z. York. Here are just a few examples. After trial, witnesses recanted their testimony, revealing they were threatened by agents to testify falsely. Suppression of key evidence that would have cleared Dr. York from conviction. Multiple violations of federal law, Brady versus Maryland, Giglio versus US Napu v. Illinois. Constitutional violations under the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments. This constitutes criminal liability under 18 US Section 241, Conspiracy Against Rights, 242, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law, and 1512, Obstruction of Justice and Fraud on the Court. The call to action. This is a plea to every citizen who believes in justice, transparency, and truth. We must demand a full congressional investigation into Dr. Malachi Z. York's case, immediate release of Dr. York based on new evidence of perjury, prosecutory misconduct, and fraud upon the court, and a group of disgruntled members that conspired against Dr. York. Judicial accountability for those who conspired, including Jacob York, Nicole Lopez, Habiba Washington, other co-conspirators, and all involved government officials. Media transparency and open dialogue to tell the full untold story. The time is now. Share this information. Too many lives have been destroyed by lies, silence, and cover-ups. Dr. Malachi Z. York is an innocent man, railroaded by a corrupt network of individuals with personal, political, and financial motive. You can help by doing the following. Share this flyer everywhere on social media, in barbershops, churches, and community centers. Contact your local representative and demand they investigate Dr. Malachi Z. York's case. Support the legal efforts to vacate Dr. York's sentence based on the conspiracy, new, suppressed, and recanted evidence. Read the book called Lightning from the East on Amazon. This also exposes the conspiracy against Dr. Malachi Z. York. They lied. We won't stay silent. Dr. York has spent over 20 years in solitary confinement, wrongfully imprisoned by a conspiracy rooted in anger and fear of the truth. The best thing for them to do is to come clean and tell the truth. The truth is coming out. It's time to bring Dr. York home. Hashtag justice for Dr. York. Expose the conspiracy. Free Malachi York now. So we know, as I say all the time, this whole thing is a very complex system. And when it comes to, the things that we have to do as a people collectively, we have to get the truth out. Go ahead, brother, you have the mic.
Is that online or I could get
that? If you're in the Telegram groups, we will share it there. We'll make it available to anyone who would like it. Just let us know. We can put it in the chat. But yeah, so when we say that Dr. York needs to come home, it's serious. Okay, so let's get down to the building. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, go ahead, brother, before we move on. Anyone on, I don't know if anyone's on, I don't have any mods on Clubhouse, so let me see if I can bring some people up on stage.
Jacob,
Yeah, go ahead.
to your son. Sounds like he's got a lot of disagreeableness in him. And I was wondering, how can someone like the master teacher produce someone like Jacob? I'd imagine that whoever Jacob's mother has some disagreeableness in her as well. Which would then make you question, why would Dr. York fornicate with someone like that? Maybe he didn't know that that was in her bloodline or in her ancestry, but clearly whatever was inside her.
Sorry, someone's mic needs to be muted. Where's that coming from? Okay. Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, clearly what was ever inside Jacob's mom is now gone inside him, the disagreeableness. Are we supposed to be, I know the master children has a lot of children, the master teacher has a lot of children, so I'm not sure what question I'm asking. I think it's two. Did the master teacher, when he was choosing these women to have, I suppose you wouldn't know, but to make children.
Brother, if you're going to ask a question, ask a question. Because what you're doing is you're trying to ask a question, but you're making a lot of statements, and we're not really getting to your question.
Yeah.
And you're then giving your opinions on things. So I've been patient to try and wait to see if I can get the question out. Yeah, if you can just ask the question and I'll address it. I kind of picked up some of what you said, but what is your real question?
I'm not sure, to be honest. This is,
okay. Let me address what I picked up from what you said. Religion makes people look at Dr. York like a religious man, right? He's not a religious person. When you say every single person on this planet has agreeable and disagreeable within them, right? Yeah, that's the nature of your 180 degrees disagreeable, your 180 agreeable, and you kind of like overcome your disagreeableness by the actions and the things you do based on Wu-Sabat. Dr. York has, in the publication, clearly said that he's got agreeable children and he's got disagreeable children, right? So he's not like exempt in the human nature part of who he is. Just like we are all the same. Like he's a person. He goes to the toilet, he eats, you know, it goes for the same things we go through as the physical person or the man. That's why he always said, don't put me, I'm not a religious man. I'm a teacher, you know? So that's a mindset of people thinking, oh, he knows, like, to know something is after it happened, right? That's the man. Of course, Yanun is a different being, right? And Yanun is the one that is using the vessel or the body of Malachi York to channel or give us the affirmation into information. So, yeah, the physical, that's why even now when we're saying people say, they mix the two, as in Yanun saying, oh, why doesn't he just walk out of jail? This is Yanun can, but Yanun is here utilizing the physical being of Malachi in this 3D world, in this world, to teach us. Yeah. So yeah, you have to be able to know that they're two. It's like you have a spiritual or soul being that doesn't need the things your physical body does. You follow? But for you to be animated and be who you are physically, you need that essence of you to follow, to be alive. So it's being able to, like, it's like you say, you hear the phrase when you're confronted with a situation where Jesus would be like, my think it was in my spirit or my soul is willing, but my flesh is weak. Yeah, meaning that all these people, no one you can name that has come to this planet, or is a master teacher, or like you can name anyone that didn't have to succumb to the physical side of things. You see, that's everyone. So Dr. Yu, as a physical person, is just like any other human. Makes mistakes, you know what I mean? Like learns from situations. That's why he says he has to learn to be human from us being a visitor from somewhere else as Yanun. Is that confusing? Is that making sense?
Say that again, one more again.
So
He has to learn how to be human.
Yeah.
Through
watching and studying us, because
yeah,
because he's a visitor here. You follow? Yeah. Someone else out there, I know.
Yeah, I have some explanation, because what you read here reminds me of King David in the Bible, son Solomon, Absalom. They were rivalry, and from what I studied then was that Absalom's mother was beautiful. The mother was not. She was a beautiful woman, and there's some things about the mother, that Absalom inherited that made him to have that nature. And based on what Dr. York, his knowledge, because so we cannot predict the future, but we can prepare for it. Is this event that happened, is it meant to have happened?
Yeah.
Is it something
that's right.
Would have been prevented? Was it meant to have happened, or was it something that could have been prevented?
Okay, so I said at the beginning that a lot of people are under a religious mindset, so they will go back to the Bible and quote certain things, yeah, to know something. Like people say God knows everything. There's no way that it says that in the Bible. I'm trying to answer your question. I'm saying, when you say, could it have been prevented? The whole point of Dr. York being here is to teach us. And so, like, yeah, I know what you're saying, because he's like coming from our future to help us avoid what he has seen that will happen to us if we don't change our ways and do certain things, right? So when you say, could it be prevented? They've been trying to prevent what is oncoming, but we have a part to play in that, because there are different rules, like there are galactical rules, there are spiritual rules, there are rules that are outside of what we know. So they can't actually interfere too much. They can guide and send warners and send people, but we ultimately are responsible for our fate. You follow? So it's easy to just leave it to someone else when you have to play a part. You have to do or collectively, we have to do what needs to be done. So we can change our fate by what we do. But we're not robots where we're just going to be like,
we are free will.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm not looking at
what we do. See, one of the problems is we don't ask direct questions. We give our opinions and statements. So when people pick up the mic to ask a question, most of the time they don't ask a question. So that's why it gets a bit confusing, because we have to now deal with what you think as opposed to what question do you really have. I did that with my brother here. So what is really the question you would like to ask?
The main question is, like I said about the root cause, I'm looking at it. There's always a motive behind an action. Even if the action could be ugly, could be good, but there's no motive. I think the person has an ugly motive to show in his actions. I think they have a good motive, even if he's like going through the wrong path, not acting the right, but he will still show in his action. So in this case, what is the driving force for the son to engage in that act? Could it be that?
But we read it because he's jealous. Jealousy is one of those attributes.
Jealousy
that
is generic. It's not an attribute because
brother, you're not asking a question. You're still going. What is your, if it's your question,
what is the motive
behind why Jacob did what he did?
Yes, what
right. It clearly, I'm telling you, he wanted his father to support him doing disagreeable things because he was a manager to Little Kim, right? And the type of music Little Kim was putting out. If you even look at the cover of the first album Little Kim came with, it was very provocative sexually, right? They were talking about things that his father doesn't support. As a spiritual religion, well, he was teaching religion at the time, but as a spiritual person, he said, no, I'm not. How can I fund you and support you financially to promote slackness and do the things that goes against what I teach? He was disgruntled about that. His mother also passed away, right? And he held Dr. York responsible. Wasn't his fault. Just like children, you could have children and they want you to support them as a father with doing something that you don't agree. And so he was disgruntled. He was unhappy that his father didn't give him the money and support him to do what he does. Now, coincidentally, all the things that you're seeing with P. Diddy on the moment with his case and everything, remember that Jacob was also working in the music industry with those people. And you see what's come out of that with all the case of Diddy, right? So this is like a repeat story where it was like, if you remember the Yaqub story, Yaqub didn't like the treatment that he received. And he vowed that he was going to get revenge by creating a weak and wicked being to show people that he is the same with Cain and Abel. Like, this is why we're teaching you that you have both natures in you, agreeable and disagreeable. And if you're not taught Wu-Sabat and you're aware that you have that side of you, you can also fall to the temptations of this world. Many student teachers have, where money is used, like certain things, fame and fortune, books and movies, and these things are used to entice people to do disagreeableness. And to the point where they become so selfish that they're just thinking about themselves and ruin a whole entire organization and being promised that they were going to get things. But one thing the devil always does is show you that the devil has no allegiance to no one but himself. So you can be promised you're going to get this, get that, but when that time comes, he will betray you as well. And that's what happened. None of them got the movie deals. They didn't get no, fame and fortune. And they started to regret what they did. But by that time, it was too late because now an innocent man is in prison for over 20 years. And that must haunt them because they know the truth. So to answer your question, his motives were based on materialism, based on greed, based on fame. And that's what happened. Look at Hollywood. Do you know how many people have been touched by Dr. York? But because of their attachment to wealth, money, and fame, they don't even stand out or speak out for Dr. York. And there are many, many celebrities that, we could name. Jay-Z being one of those. Do you know what I mean? That came up in the community in terms of when he was around all of that with Jazzo and chose fame and fortune. But the thing is, what profits a man to gain the whole world and lose their soul? You see, so this is why the truth has to come out, and Dr. York has to be freed because he's innocent, and they've done everything. It wasn't just about Jacob and all of that. Obviously, the information they've been putting out, exposing everything, and those that didn't want that to happen, they're not happy about that either. So there's a bigger picture to everything. It's not just what Jacob did. It's like, you know what I mean? You have principalities in higher places that don't.
So those false testimonies they gave, are they correcting it now?
Well, this is what, in order for justice, if you've ever been through any case, there's information that comes out. But if you study the case and see how things were done that were not the way they should be done, you can see that it was a conspiracy. But this is why we're here fighting and exposing these things so that justice can be made. All right. Okay, let me see how we're doing for time. And yeah, we still got some time. Any other questions? But remember as well, as I said, there is a legal team and people that are specialists in the, dealing with a legal case. So, I just read the flyer because that flyer actually, for those who don't know much about the case and what happened and what's going on, that kind of gives them a good idea. But you still have to consult the legal team. Go ahead.
What was the case story there? Cases.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm saying is into the realm of litigation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what they be in law, it's called IRAC. So basically issue legal law in application of law. So I'm saying like if you have those two cases mentioned, those two cases you mentioned have a specific what's it called? Residents spoke to those cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
That come related to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, what if you see how law works, is like if there's a case that took place before, and in that case the situation was the same and a different outcome was got from that case, then you have another situation which is exactly the same. The precedent is that you cannot, in one situation which is exactly the same as the other, give a different outcome. That's why these cases are quoted. So when lawyers are arguing their case, they will put that to the judge or put that to, the people that, the jury or whatever, making the decision to say, in this situation, in this case that's already been recorded, that sets a precedent, this is what the outcome was. So how come in this case, when it's the same thing, you're given a different sentence or a different, outcome? So that's right. You have to quote cases that are on record to show injustice based on the evidence of, previous cases. But like I said, it's not really about the legal, because we do have a legal team. And those of you who are really interested, go to freedryork.com or join the Free Dr. York Telegram group, where the case is a very complex case that's been going on for over 20 years. So there's a lot of information there. But the point about how it relates to today's class is, as let's build, is because, we can build, but at the end of the day, we have to do both things simultaneously, i.e. we have to put as much effort in the freedom fight in freeing Dr. York as we put into building, because we have to also rebuild. And how we're doing that is through the 100 project that we're doing here in the UK, which is people that want to actually build, who are really, really wanting to build, not just talking the build. We're Nuwaupians are like, this is not the civil rights. We're not back in those days where we're like fighting to get civil rights that you have already. You're already civilized. You're the person that is the civilizer of everyone. So instead of fighting to sit on a bus, create your own bus. You know what I'm saying? Build for yourself, do for self. That's the day and time we're in. And we already showed and done that. Now we have to do it again and again. And that's what we're doing. So anyone who's really about building, come together, let's work, let's get things done to build that type of environment, to build that world that, we want. Okay, so I'm gonna open up for Q&A. Anyone who wants to ask questions about how we're building, anything, the doctrine, etc. Let's get those questions answered. Is anyone on Zoom? Let me see if the chat has any questions in the meantime. Okay, there's no questions. Go ahead, brother.
In regards to building, so that would simply just mean coming together and having discussions about what you can offer and that you're good at, and then getting feedback from other people and discuss what it is we can do with that information. Help.
No, I mean that's part of it, but when you have a project, which is what this is, we know between now and 2030, a lot of things are going to happen. Like changes are taking place. You just have to be aware of things that are going on around you. So no, it's coming together. In fact, we've got a link to the website, which I'll share quickly, which is, in fact, people like to see things. So let me just share it, because it's about having an organized and an approach in a way that works, okay, let me just share this. But it's a good question. Okay. So we decided that, I mean, there are many people doing different things, and you can't really always speak for everyone. You can only do what you can do, like I was saying, in terms of wherever you are, there are communities all around the world. But this website, ds4s.net, can my screen be here? So if you go to ds4s.net, waiting for it to load up. Okay, you see where it says the 100 project? So if you click on that, so people that so for years we've been teaching and breaking down and saying we need to come together, we need to come together. People were asking, well, what do we do when we come together?
You don't tell me to hang on.
Who's that?
What the hell are you doing that you can't?
Can you mute whoever that is, please? Okay, so this gives you a summary of the project, right? All the questions that you could ask are all here, like what is the 100 project? It explains it. Basically, every question you could possibly have about the project. And then if you're interested, you just fill out this form. When you fill out the form, we contact you as part of the people that want to build, and we come together and you get all the information regarding what we're doing, and it's all there. So I'm not going to repeat everything, because all the questions you could possibly ask are right here. What's the project? What happens to the contributions? Who's managing it? All that information is here. So meeting up and planning and doing things is a part of that. I don't know, does that answer your question? Yeah, so that's what we're doing. But there are other other initiatives and other things that people are doing. So anyone who wants to help, who wants to be a part of the 100 project, just go on the website and literally fill out this form. It's very short, and we'll get in touch. All right. Any other questions about anything? They're lovely, good people in Wu-Sabat that they may not speak very much, but what tends to happen is when people say, yeah, I want to be a part of it, it's your actions that really tell, like what you actually do, not, just gassing. And then when the time comes to actually do, you don't do. So you have to work with those who are actually willing to work and get things done. So those who do, those who don't. We don't do trying, there's no trying. You either do or you don't. Either way, that's what I was saying to you before, like when you study marketing, the conversion rate, you might say, let's do something, and there's 1,000 people. By the end of the day, out of that 1,000, you get 10%. Do you know what I mean? So it's an illusion when people say they're going to do something, but they don't commit and then they're not courageous and they don't commit and they're not consistent to doing it. But there are those who will, and those are the ones that we're looking to work and build. We have to build here as well as abroad and make sure that we get a safe environment and everything that we keep talking that we want for the children, for our legacy, for the elders. We have to do it. Yeah? Okay, any other questions?
In regards to the garments and the clothes,
Yeah.
is there t-shirts a bit like, because I see all the garments that the student teachers are wearing, and everything's long sleeve. It seems like you guys are kind of warm.
We have got t-shirts. We have everything. And if we don't have it, sorry, that's my alarm. If we don't have it, we can make it. And when people want this, when it comes to building, right? The master always had that do for self mentality. Why don't you produce those t-shirts? You see what I'm saying? Like people say, do we have this? Do we have that? If it's not available, that's an opportunity for someone to say, you know what? Let me produce that for the community. We've got to get away from this mentality of let someone else do it. Everything's made in China. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we are very capable. Like right now, you've seen the invention with the brother in Zimbabwe, the one that he doesn't use any electricity, uses radio waves to convert for cars and for TVs. There's TVs with no wires, nothing. TV powering off of converting radio waves as energy. I mean, in Africa right now, so many inventions. But of course, normally, the West or people will come and say, let me give you that much money and take your invention. If you feel that that's going to benefit your community and your people, then you won't sell out, you see? Because, you know, people that produce an electric car, this is what I was saying about the devil doesn't have any loyalty, where you saw the whole play out with Elon Musk and Donald Trump, where they were like that at one point before he won the election. And then when he got into power, they fell apart. And now my man's electric cars, he's not getting the same amount of funding that he was getting for the government and all of that, for even SpaceX and all of that. So now he's gone to set up his own political party called America or something, right? Now, but they were like, that's what I'm saying, like, there's no loyalty amongst thieves. But when it comes to us as a family and working together, we don't compete, but we are able to produce and build everything that we need. So anything you can think about, we got to get away from the laziness. This is what's caused us as a, you know, the tribe, the nation. That's why the title of the class was, Are you ready to build? It's nation building time. It's about us realizing the potential and the power that we have. And so going back to what you're saying, we're gonna produce everything we need. Anything, like all the books that are not available right now need to be available because everybody wants them. You see, all the garms to live our culture, you know. So everything you can think of, the food that we eat, you know, whatever we need, build for self, do for self. But are you that type of a spirit? Are you that type of a person that just wants to wait for someone else to do it, wait around? Or you're the type of person that's a worker, want to get things done? That's how I am. People that know me my entire life, that's what I was saying about the master, saying about the drive, the constant, you know, even when it looks like it's all down and out, you're still able to carry on, you're still able to build. I get things done. That's just my nature. So I like people around me, and the master is the same. He gets things done. He doesn't just talk it, he actually manifests things. And that's what we're supposed to do. Go ahead, brother.
It's my South Park place. You know what I'm saying? Like, they believe us come.
Who's they?
Now, I mean, we in Wakanda, obviously that's Hollywood and stuff. But I'm saying, because you're saying we do. We all do.
Wakanda was really about us.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they pick us in the comic.
No, what I'm saying is the master teacher already did the blueprint or the black print. So it's easy. When someone's already done something, it's like, okay, it's not new. It's like the Bible, the Quran, all of these books, they act like it's new information. But you can go back to the tablets in ancient times where the exact same thing has already happened. So the one that was there first, you're like, okay, this is not new. Like you read about the crucifixion in the New Testament 2,000 years ago. Nobody thinks, or no, let me finish. Nobody thinks, let's go and read Psalms, what's the quote? 22. Go and read Psalms 22. It's the same story they've copied into the crucifixion story. But if you say to someone, without the crucifixion story, there will be no need for the New Testament. Because there's nothing like it's all about he came to save you and he was crucified on the cross, rose on the third day, all that, blah, blah, blah. Then you go and read Psalm 22, it's like the same story. So then it kind of makes which one was first? They talk about Noah and the flood and all of that. You're like, okay, let's go and read the Enuma and the Gilgamesh, the Sumerian tablet. You get the story of Utnapishtim with the flood and everything. So it's like a lot of the things that people think are prophecies or new information, it's all old information. The only new thing now is us with what the master teacher is teaching, because as a visitor to this planet, he can keep giving you things and showing you things that no one else can because he's seen it already.
Okay, but the boys asked you,
Yeah.
what is history repeats?
His story repeats itself because it's not original.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to take a minute for you to resonate, yeah? he can only tell you the things that have already taken place because he hasn't got anything original. Whatever is his story, he says prehistoric. He doesn't know about it. The prehistoric people. But when you watch any of these shows on like Discovery Channel or, like they always say these words, like as a Nuwaupian, as a nine-mind being. There was one the other day about Egypt and this woman was talking about going to Egypt and they say, we, the people, we, this. And you're like, who's we? Like, we're not all in the same boat, in the same category. So you have to say, okay, prehistory. Who's the prehistoric people? And what did those people do? And you end up in our world because what is prehistoric is a mystery to him. When you look at the word mystery, you're literally saying my story. You see, my story or our story. And they don't know about us. That's why it doesn't make sense that someone who was only here 6,000 years ago can come and try and tell you about how things happened millions of years ago when they weren't there. So yeah, it seems like history is repeating itself because it's just being regurgitated. And if you're not careful, what they do is it gets whitewashed or changes. I mean, for example, look at Martin Luther King, right? He's up there in that picture. Look at pictures of Martin Luther King when he first came on the scene. His complexion has changed. He's gone from dark, he's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So over time, that story would be like the biblical stories, you see, and it's the same with us. A lot of people are talking Wu-Sabat and chatting our information in mainstream as if it's theirs. You watch Gaia on these channels and you're like, if you don't know about Wu-Sabat, if you don't know we had a community, if you watch, as you say, what's it called, Black Panther, and you see all of that, you're like, they actually use our script in the movie. If you look at it, the language, it comes up. Even the second one when, I can't remember her name, the little technical girl, she's in the laboratory and they show the Sabaic writing. Now, we were saying that for years, Nuwaupu's been here, the first language, blah, blah, blah. Then people see it on the screen. And now it seems like, oh, they'll look at us and go, oh, you lot got it from Black Panther. Or like they hear words in Arabic and say, oh, Nuwaupu sounds like Arabic. But Arabic came after Nuwaupu. You see, so these are the games and the tricks. So we are writing our story now every day. And you have to say to yourself, are you in the story? Like, what do you do or what have you done that is significant in this new paradigm we're in? You know what I mean? Like you have to be yourself and be the God and goddess that you are. So I know when I speak, I speak in a way where people just go quiet. I don't know why. It's like you're pushing people too much sometimes, I think. But it's not that much. Oh, I see a hand up. Jackie, sorry, I didn't see you. Go ahead on mute yourself and ask your question. Rahubat, Jackie.
So I was wondering in regards to the meteorite that is expected to arrive around 2030.
Mm-hmm.
How should we plan? How should we plan regarding building? You know,
Yeah.
what should our outlook look like?
Right. This is what we're talking about. Let's build, because like we don't want to wait till 2030 to be thinking, okay, what do we do now? Everything the master has taught us from the get-go is about us preparing. It's been about us coming together. We did it in terms of getting land, building, protecting the children, but we allowed that to be infiltrated by disgruntled members, as I've already read, and for what has happened where we don't have that anymore. So now, when you say how should we prepare, this is what we're doing. That's why this class is called Let's Build. It's us coming together. I mean, of course, we're not going to give away every single detail about our plans, because that's how we allow people to sabotage and whatever. But I mean, it's not even rocket science. It's literally coming together and putting our resources together, putting our skills and experience together, building, having, you know, everything we need, and buying land and building, and, you know, really real building. So, I mean, we've built many communities in the past, but what happens is that when we have adversaries that come to, you know, they don't want that independence. They don't want you to be able to, you know, we've all heard the stories of Black Wall Street, you know, the nation with Don Elijah Muhammad was strong at one point. Obviously we are the last standing organization in terms of that type of building. And so everything the master has taught and given us is for us to come together and build. But it's like you can build all this stuff, but without him, do you know what I mean? Like where you're going. So it's a simultaneous thing of putting the same effort into both at the same time. And we can do it, and that's what we're doing. So we don't wait till the last minute and then you're caught off guard. Does that make sense, Jackie?
Yeah, so we're building to be together, or we're building in different parts of the world?
Yeah, I mean, there are different communities. So wherever we are gathering, we're safe to work together. In the meantime, as we're building in the in the motherland as well, to wait and be guided by the master teacher, whatever he says. But either way, we're building both here and abroad. And when we say build, we mean literally everything we need. It's not rocket science. You know, there are communities of people that have been preparing, militias and groups of people that are, you know, the people have got bunkers and all kinds of stuff ready. They've been building for themselves to be storage of food, whatever. So I'm saying, like, whatever way your mind is calling building, we need to do that. And we are doing it. We've got communities all around the world. We just got to, get together. Obviously, things are happening in real time, and you have to be in the community to really be aware of certain things that are taking place, you know, because not everything is going to be in the public forum. This mouth to ear is in communities, it's us together. I don't know if I've answered your question. If not,
Yeah.
please
I think I need to follow up with you, because I know that I was interested in the Project 100.
Okay.
What would you call it? I need to follow up on that. Is that where I would learn more about the plan?
Yeah. So I'm kind of losing you. I didn't hear the last part, but
Yeah, I was saying that I need to follow up on the, I think it's what it is.
yeah. I
Project
mean,
100.
we are very accessible. You know, we are people that you can come and meet, sit down, talk, book appointments, do one-to-one. We're in the Telegram group. We've got lots of student teachers in the Telegram group. You're going to see more and more people coming through on, you know, the channel OSM Vision. Every all the teachers, you know, we've got Catherine, Sabat, the sisters, many teachers are now, you know, helping in terms of building. We just need the people that are just kind of like, there's no, you can't be in one foot in, one foot out. You're either in or you're out. You're either with us or you're not with us. You're either building or you're not building. You know, Wu-Sabat teaches us there's no, like, I'm trying. You either do or you don't. You know, so those who will do, those who won't. And we just keep it moving.
What is it?
Sorry, go ahead.
I have another question.
Okay.
I was just wondering, you know, if there's a family cemetery on the property that, you know, that the family home is on, what is the impact of having a family cemetery on the property where you...
Family cemetery?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so in our culture, at the moment, the master teacher has taught us to cremate as opposed to having a cemetery. But at the end of the day, as a community, that's something we would decide and also have, because not everyone would like to be cremated. But at the same time, we're taught the reasons why, because you're dealing with the essence of you and your soul and, you know, like leaving here. And if you're still trapped here by way of your physical body, then it just takes you longer to decompose and transition. So, you know, as a community, we will make those decisions. But when I said anything and everything we need, according to our culture, we will have that, you know. And we shouldn't try to fight to hold on to things that we know better are, you know, like, if it's a better way for you, then why would we try and hold on to? It's like when we say to people, we don't mind breaking down religion, but if Wu-Sabat is a better replacement, why do we have to constantly fight to keep you in religion? Like, it's not even, it's a no-brainer now. Like, so there are people who can't move forward and they're stuck in religion. And what they do is try and pull other people into it or keep you, you know, stuck in it as opposed to elevating and moving forward. But you will be able to see that and discern that yourself. I see Amunem on the stage, and I see Kanas and Atum Ray Komet. If any of you would like to say anything, just unmute yourself and feel free. But yeah, it's about building, and the real men, the real women, the women, the women actually look at the men like we're meant to be the providers. We're meant to have the safe spaces and have the protection for the women and all these things. Not to say women are not as great as men, but if we don't provide that for the women and the children, then who's going to do it? And the women, obviously, they play a significant part, because when we're in our rightful environment, we use both sides of our brain, left and right. The two male and female sacred feminine come together. In fact, it's the sacred feminine's time. So, you know, we look around and, you know, we need to help them, you know, kind of take that leadership role as the tribal leaders. We have a matriarchal system, not a patriarchal system. So these are all things that, because we're not functioning in our environment, we're not able to implement our culture properly. And you read the 33 commandments and the master tells you, you know, we have to have our own land to be able to do something. We can't call ourselves certain things unless we have certain things in place. So, you know, that's what we're doing. And we can't fail. There's no failure in our vocabulary. We will succeed. Anyone else? Go ahead. Oh, you have a question, bro?
Is there anything
inherently wrong with using AI? So say if I'm using AI for the sake of good, or I'm simply just using it to make money, is there something inherently wrong with it? Because I know you have to use a lot of water around your computers, like you know, water anytime to chat GPT, or is it like wrong or evil for me to use?
No, not at all. There's wrong and right, right and wrong, good and bad in everything. It's how you choose to use it. You see, so we as a people, we are those beings that have technology before everyone else had it. What it is how you use it. We know that AI was brought here by extraterrestrial, but we are also extraterrestrial. So anything that comes, what we tend to do is lag behind. We don't embrace it and utilize it quickly like everyone else. We kind of come to it late when everyone's exploited it, and then we try and get in. So we need to be at the forefront of it. We use AI in many ways, like use it for the good side of things and use it to do what we need to do. It doesn't make sense in this day and time for you not to use AI. Meaning, like, there was a time when businesses didn't have telephone numbers. And then when telephone numbers came, every business had a telephone number. And then it moved on to having a website, to the point where if you don't have a website now as a business, it's like you can't market yourself as efficiently. Then, you know, social media. And now it's AI. Like, technology keeps evolving and moving. And if you think about it, the most intelligent beings are extraterrestrials that have the most technology. So technology gives you advantages over everyone else. And we, as our ancestors, the technology we have is natural. So yeah, you can use anything to help, but at the same time, don't let it control you. Just like many people have a phone in their hand. Most people don't even use the power of that. They call it a smartphone, and it doesn't mean you should not be smarter than it. But people say, oh, it's a smartphone, so they rely on the phone to do everything. To the point where if someone leaves their phone home, they can't function. Like, their whole world stops just because they don't have their phone. And that's also attached to you as a being, you know, because you're now attached to it so much that you can't do without it. Most people can't do mathematics, mental arithmetic anymore, because you've got a calculator on the phone. Most people don't remember their, you know, a number of one person, their closest person. If they were in a situation of emergency, they can call that person because they've got the number in their head stored. Most people rely on the number being stored on their phone. So you're going to be in an emergency, you don't know who to call. So you should at least still use your mind to store a few numbers. Go ahead.
What's the difference between, is there a difference between the Sabian and the wu-nuwaup?
Only because of the words. But the thing is, when you break down the words, it's like saying, is there a difference between a Jamaican and an African? So I mean, two different words, but the same people, right? So the word Sabian, if you go really deep into it, is Saba. It deals with, people say the star, but it's actually dealing with the stargate that you travel through to get out of it, right? So we say Saba or Sabatat or Sabaik, all these words go to that root word. The thing about wu-nuwaupian is like, no one else can break it down or tell you what that is apart from us, yeah? But there's really no divisions between us, because the master said we are wu-nuwaupian, and he said we are favored or musbatu. So we're using other people's languages to say what we are in our language. So really we are musbatu, which is those that are Sabian.
So musbatu are Sabians and wu-nuwaupians.
We're one and the same.
One and the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so as of recent, I've come to realize that I'm not really dealing with countries and borders anymore. When someone asks me where I'm from, I've come to realize someone put a line here, you can't tell me that I'm this because I was born on that line. So I've been telling these sort of people as of recent, Africa. But Europeans came over and divided that whole continent and called it Africa. So instead of me saying I'm African, and someone asks where I'm from, I'm going to say I'm Wu-Sabat.
They're going to ask you what that is, isn't it?
And then I have to say,
what are you going to say?
I come from the stars.
Okay, what does that mean?
I'm not from this galaxy. My ancestry came through the Stargate. So I'm not even really from here. I was born here, but I'm not from this planet.
So where did your ancestors come from?
Through the water. So when they came from the Stargate, where they come from?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
See, this is how you have to learn about Wu-Nuwaupu or being a Sabian. You see, because the minute you say I'm a wu-nuwaupu, it opens up a dialogue because they don't know what that is. If you say I'm Jamaican, okay, African, they know, because that's the label that they've given us. So embracing our culture and who you are, you can say I'm a wu-nuwaupu. You can say I'm a Sabian or I'm a Sabian.
And I would have to do my own studies.
Yeah, you can't say you're something and you
Yeah.
don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So you have to know what that is. That's why I was doing that in terms of, and already you were going into it. You're giving me good information. Because the minute you say, I'm not from here, okay, they might say, okay, like, where are you from? And you say, I'm from the stars. Okay, which star? Where from? And like, are you an extraterrestrial then? You see what I mean? Like, because what's the definition of an extraterrestrial? And then they might say, oh, you're crazy.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. But then they will say, Jesus is not from here. God is not from here. Where is God?
I'm not supposed to say in front of them.
No. I'm saying what they teach us. What they say. You see what I'm saying? They say God is in heaven, which makes him an extraterrestrial. So they can't say you're crazy for saying you're an extraterrestrial because they teach that in their own doctrine and their information. You see, so it's the reality of who we are, not from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's important to study the scrolls to know, like, you are who you are. You just have to live it. And a lot of us are still not grasping that. We still want to live in the Western, in the image of the beast, in their ideologies, in the way that you've been programmed all your life, even though you know it doesn't work for you.
so there's nothing inherently disrespectful as me referring to myself as wu-nuwaupu if I'm not living the culture to the best of my abilities, or I'm not capable of truly explaining what wu-nuwaupu is. Most
people call themselves Africans and don't live like that. I don't even know what an African is. Don't embrace any cultural elements of Africa. You see what I mean? So you have to say to yourself, if you're saying you're a wu-nuwaupian, what does that mean? What does a wu-nuwaupian do? You see what I mean? How does a wu-nuwaupian live? Then we have all the books. We have the Revelation. I've got all of the books behind me. I bring all these books just in case someone wants to ask a question. Sometimes we have to pick up the books and then go into it because it's all written down. Like, we have a way of life that is well defined, very clear, to the point where the way, Pataruk, that's the way we should live. You don't go to a Christian or Muslim or anywhere. They don't have a culture. They have one book that contradicts itself with what people say that doesn't make sense. Because you look at Muslims and you say, look at Muslims worldwide. They all look different. They all dress differently. You know what I mean? They all speak different dialects of Arabic. They're not united. It's the same with Christians. Divisions all over. Like, Wu-Sabat gives you everything you need to live the way you're supposed to live. The way you're supposed to live. It's whether or not you're going to embrace it and take it on board and do it. So as a wu-nuwaupian man, we have a part of that called the wu-nuwaupian man or the Sabian man. And they told you what a Sabian man should do. And it's either you read it and do it or you don't. But you won't call yourself a Sabian man if you're not doing what Sabian men do. It's the same with the sisters. We dress, that's why when you see us now, you see our cultural attire, you see us representing Wu-Sabat. And we should be able to do that every day if we want to in our environment. And that's what we're building for. All right. Any other questions? How? It's okay, 6 minutes to go. If you don't have any burning questions, I'll recap. Got to get Partner Babylon out. That's our #1 priority. And how do we do that? By uniting. And how do we unite? By building. You get close to people when you work. If you've got a project to do and you're all working together, you get to know people, you get to work. Like, that's how you come together, by building and doing things. You can't be in isolation and like individualism. That doesn't work. And so Partner Babylon says love and unity is the key. And then when you're doing that, you're bringing that potential within yourself out, you know, because if you watch the video with myself and Hotep, and I heard that from other people, like Partner Babylon will put you in a situation where you bring out that divine within you. Like you get put in a situation where you don't even know you can fix it or work it out, and you work it out. You know, and that brings out the divinity in you. Go ahead. Even when we say to people the basic of things to do, go on, ask a question and let me finish, then I'll finish what I'm about to say.
The original language, our language, best place for me to learn it. If I wanted to spend a couple hours every morning, where should I go?
Are you in our Telegram group?
Yes.
Right, because the amount of times that question is asked and the amount of times we post the Telegram to the group for the language, but people keep asking it over and over and over again. So go to that language group. If you're not in the Telegram group, go in the Telegram group and we'll post or show you the link, because you have people at different stages of learning the language. And so, you know, like the best place is to go to a place where they dedicate and focus on the language. Of course, there are books. See, that's another thing as well. The master teacher teaches you many languages throughout the books. When you're reading the book, you always see the words, and then he translates them into English. So, and that's Arabic, Latin, Hebrew, name it. Every language you can think of, when you're reading the scrolls, when we say to everyone, read the books, read the books, read the scrolls, it's because that's the basic thing you should do. Now, some people say they haven't got the money to buy the scroll, but they will have money for other things that are not as important. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't really make sense. It's going back to that whole thing about your mindset, how you think, how you reason, and how you prioritize things that are most important for you. You know what I mean? So there are books to learn the language, but we have the Telegram group. That's the first place I will send you to learn the language. Yeah. Anyone else? Right. So what I was going to summarize and say is that a lot of our student teachers have been walking with the master for a very long time. And there were very simple things that we say to people to do all the time. One of them is bring a notepad and paper, take notes, write with them, because we know how that helps you. Because when you learn something, there's people learn in different ways. People learn through audio, visual, but when you're learning the language, Haptu is here, he will tell you, you can't just do one thing. Like you should learn to write it, learn to speak it, learn to read it. So I mean, all of these three work hand in hand. So if you just never use your tongue to actually say words, then you're not going to be as effective as you just write it only. You know what I mean? So all the combinations are necessary. And the best way to learn it is to just use what you have over and over again. Repetition is the key. So the basic things people try to skip over, but it's like wax on, wax off. On the, what's the movie? The Karate Kid. Like he wanted to learn to be a karate, you know what I mean, expert, and the guy's like, wipe the windows, wax on, wax off. And he's thinking, I came here to learn the skills, and you're telling me to wipe. And he didn't realize it was teaching him how to defend himself. So the teacher will teach you in a particular way, but as you get better, as you grow, you will see why you were being told to do something in a particular way. So we say, read the scroll and just ask questions, direct questions. People still don't know how to ask a direct question. We waffle a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just say, why is the master teacher in prison? People say, well, if the master teacher is in prison and he's Yanun and he can free himself, and how did he know that? And then you're like, what's the question? You see, because the master makes it very clear. When you ask a question, he gives you the answer, sometimes more than you bargained for. You got a question?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be the last one for today, but go ahead.
I was watching a couple of movies that you recommended, and sometimes when I'm watching the movies, I wish I had mastered one of the student teachers to break down what it is we're actually seeing, like the analogy of what the movie's trying to show us is actually happening in real life. So I was wondering on OSM Vision, could you guys actually post videos of you reacting to certain films and explaining what it is that's actually going on, like in that scene from the gorilla movie King Kong, where King Kong went back to his home and I think they went through a Stargate, or even in Stranger Things, they had the nuclear collider, if I'm not mistaken, and then opened up a whole other dimension for madness to come through. It would be interesting to hear the student teachers break down on things that we're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to distract us, because even though we recommend movies, it's to kind of give you a visual representation, because sometimes when you're saying something, someone can't see the visual. And not only that, you have to be aware, YouTube, they change their rules all the time. And one of the things they're doing now is that you can't do those types of videos because it's not your original content. And so if you're just reacting to someone else's video, you could get flagged, and like, you know what I mean? That's something they're kind of clamping down on. And we would spend our whole life analyzing movies when we got so much work and books to do. But what you should do is, maybe you say we're not with you, but because we have the Telegram group that's always alive, you could ask a question in there. But yeah, we don't want it to become like we're just analyzing movies, because even the movies themselves sometimes are a big distraction. But we only give you an example because sometimes the master will say, he will explain something to us and we may not get it, and he will say, watch this movie, so that we can kind of like relate to what he's teaching. But yeah, we don't want to just spend our lives watching movies. We've got work to do. But you can still ask us the question, and if it relates, like the whole movie of King Kong, for example, you just mentioned that. Most people don't even know what that movie is about. What is it about?
Them finding extraterrestrials on the planet.
Okay, maybe I should have gone the first King Kong movie, because nowadays they just regurgitate the same movies over and over again, and then add new things to, like now Superman's out again. Like Superman's been out for donkey years, but they're bringing it out again. They've also, what's the other one? They've got yeah, they just regurgitate the same movies over and over in terms using new technology and new effects, but it's the same story. So when I say, what's King Kong about? The original one, the first one, what is it about?
I'm not sure.
Right, the master explains this on one of the recordings, that they're showing King Kong representative of a black man. And they show you how this white girl, of all the women in the world, big black King Kong is obsessed with this white Caucasian woman. There's a lot of subliminal messages in there, and the master breaks it down how they take you away from the jungle, bring you to the West, put you in a cage for show. And, you know, it can go into a lot, but there's a lot of symbology in movies, is what I'm saying. So they will blatantly tell you something that you would not even be aware of what it's about. Yeah, so that's, if you can find it, where the master breaks it down. I don't remember the name of the recording. Yeah, but just listen to that. He goes into a lot of detail. We ran out of time. Yeah, so we're gonna have to round it off. So yeah, today's class was called Let's Build. And if you are definitely someone that wants to build, come back to the family, come close. Wherever you are in the world, go back to the stores, engage with the family there so you can be updated, get involved with the freedom fight, you know, get involved with our 100 project, because we are building, we need to build, we need to come together, and so that we can have everything that we want for anyone who's about peace, harmony, and a peaceful world. I know it sounds like a cliche, but why can't we all get along? I'll leave you on that note.